What's up, everyone? Vu of Envu Films, on my way to pick up my ADHD medication, Adderall, and I am going to go to the grocery store, the local Chinese grocery store where everything stinks, but everything is cheap because it is made from China. With that being said, today's video is also reviewing something that is made in China. I guess you would call it a review. I am talking about the Viltrox 16mm f1.8 wide-angle lens for your full-frame E-mount camera. I'm not going to be one of those YouTube reviewers that are pretending like my viewers don't know about anything else, but here we are. I've actually been trying to do this review for a while now, but every time I've done it, I put the camera on my car and it keeps sliding back and forth on my dash, and hopefully it'll stay this time. But I'm not trying to review this lens, or I don't like doing reviews like typical people do it, because I'm sure there's 1,000 other reviews already that has dived deep into the, specs, like corner sharpness and all these things. And as far as I know, this lens has great sharpness, it has great overall performance, and the autofocus is pretty Loctite. It is incredibly well built. It is hefty in a way, not too hefty, but you could definitely feel the weight. Yeah, generally just a really good performer, really good high quality lens for a pretty decent price. I think right now it's going for under $500, and it is a great choice for those of you who are looking for a wide angle lens and don't want to break the bank. Obviously, there's other versatile options out there, such as 16mm 35 G Master Mark II, but that's over $2,000. You have other lenses like the Tamron 20-40, but that's $700, and it's not quite as wide as 16mm. You have other options such as the Tamron 17-28 f2.8, but again, that's f2.8, and this is f1.8. And Tamron is a bit more expensive, and again, it's only 17mm, not 16mm. And there's something very important about that depending on what you're doing. So this lens is actually in the world of its own, and the fact that it's f1.8 makes it a very versatile option, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Obviously, you have the nice wide angle 16mm. You can use this for your 16mm is the bare minimum in terms of width for you to be able to do something like real estate videography, which is what I have tested this lens out with. 16mm is, as a filmmaker, videographer, 16mm would be what I would use for real estate videography. Or you could even use the 14mm f1.8 G Master lens from Sony, but again, that lens is over $1,000. So in terms of like high quality lens at a cheap price, in this wide angle, there's really no other options out there. And if you're like concerned that, hey, like Viltrox is, it's like this random third party company, a lot of the brands that you're buying, most products like this are going to be made in China. Viltrox is specifically a Chinese brand, and I know there's a lot of people that are concerned when it comes to like these third party products and everything. But yeah, I think like everything else you're using in this space is Chinese. Your gimbals, your drones, your tripods, they're all made in China. So, don't, sit there and think like, this Viltrox brand is, not trustworthy or whatever. I've used other Viltrox lenses before. They've all worked great. They've all worked in the time that I've owned them. And then, when I sold them, people who bought them from me have never really complained. So that is that. Yes, Viltrox did send me this lens, but I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. This is completely my own opinion. I've had this lens for over probably a month now, and in the time I've used it, it has worked perfectly fine. And I'm happy with its performance overall. I do photography, but I'm not that big into it. I don't do like a ton of photography. So, if you want to look at a more photography-based review, this won't be it. There's a lot of other reviews out there for you to look at and see, like all of like the nonsense chromatic aberrations and all that stuff. But overall, what I have seen is it performs very well. And why the 16mm is very important is because you get to see the whole thing. It actually helps a lot with image stabilization as well. The wider the lens, the better the stabilization. the better the stabilization overall. Plus, I'm in active stabilization mode on the Sony. The active stabilization is going to crop in 1.1 times, and that's where that 16 mil is more important than that 17 millimeter. You know, it's better in that regard because it can compensate for that extra crop when you're in active stabilization mode. And plus, with f1.8, you could actually use this lens in APS-C crop mode on one of your, say you're using like an A7C Mark II, A7 IV, something like that. You could use this lens in a 24 millimeter after you've done APS-C mode. Look of an f2.8 or so in terms of like background separation, right? So that's one end, but also for low light. So even though when you're cropped in APS-C, the overall bokeh background separation looks like f2.8. You're still in f1.8 aperture, so you're still getting that light gathering of an f1.8 lens, which will help out greatly for APS-C users looking for like a 24 millimeter f1.8 equivalent type of lens. But obviously, this is a full frame lens, and you're gonna get the most use out of it using a 16. You're gonna get the most use out of it out of the 16 millimeter. And this is the great thing about Sony E-mount. You just have a lot of these options, wide angle options for your use. So if you're looking for a wide angle lens for whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be vlogging, whether it be real estate videography, whether it be landscape photography, landscape video, travel, whatever, and you want that f1.8, I would look no further than the 16 millimeter f1.8 Viltrox, because there's nothing out there that is like it. It's the only lens of its kind out there right now. And again, there is also the 14 millimeter f1.8 G Master, but that one you can't put any like lens covers. You can't even put any filters on it on the front element. You have to put it in the rear, and there are not many companies make anything for that. So if you're looking to put like ND filters, if you're looking to put like mist filters or something like that on your wide angle lens, the 16 millimeter f1.8 is probably the only lens you could do that on. So the 16 millimeter f1.8 is the only super wide angle lens that you can probably be able to do that on. So that's another plus for this lens. There probably might be some vignetting, I think, at this width, but again, if you're doing active stabilization f1.8, you're probably not going to see any of that. So I hope this helped you make a purchase decision on your wide angle prime lens. Until next time, lighten up. Hey man, what that microphone? It's a Synco D1 shotgun mic. Oh my god, that Trat? Why is that? It make in China. Bro, all because it's made in China doesn't mean it's bad. If you want to be the best, if you want to be professional, you need to buy Make in USA. Bro, everything is made in China. Let me show you. DJI. DJI is the definition of China. Sirui. Come on, Sirui sounds like a Chinese menu item. That is China. Insta360. That is a full 360 degrees of China. Apple Make in USA. Bro, both the phones and probably the ones that you eat is from China. Oh my god. What about this? That Trat it make in China. You are 100% correct.